It's been a pretty good week so far for One Piece. We've had the Straw Hat Pikachu in Pokemon Go. The anime has been excellent. How does manga chapter 950 stack up to them? Let's break it down in my review. Yo! Hegassen here, and here is my manga review for One Piece chapter 950. And before we get into this one, I need to point out that in this review in particular, this is my own personal opinion. So if I say something that you disagree with, it's not a personal attack. It is just my own opinion and how I feel about this chapter. And remember, if you agree or disagree, hopefully you can still enjoy my content. And if you can, give me one of them likes. That would be really appreciated. And a subscription, because both of them really help the channel, gets the channel out there. Likes help get impressions, which help get views, which overall help the channel. So if you could, that would be really appreciated. But let's get into this review. But let's start off with some of the other points before I get into the big topic of this chapter. Kid and Killer. They are up, they got their handcuffs off, and they are storming on out of there. Kid is like, "Are you going to take down Kaido, Luffy?" Luffy's like, "Yeah, want to team up?" And Kid's like, "No way! I'm out of here. Come on, Killer. Let's go." He gets his great big metal arm. It looks awesome. That is a really beautiful panel. Second best panel of this chapter, I think. We'll get to the best one in a little bit later on. But he's got his great big metal arm. It looks great. Good to see him with that again. And he just storms off there. And that is some interesting stuff because we don't know where this is going to go. It could have ramifications later on in the story. If they're going off, they're doing their own thing. Kid, he seems pretty spontaneous, seems pretty emotion driven. Could his actions and Killer's actions end up affecting Luffy and Kinemon's raid on Onigashima in 8 days? Could there be some kind of conflict here? Could he end up getting captured again? Or could he actually go out there and cause a bit of an upset? Maybe have security tightened? Not sure. I'm sure later on in the story he is going to turn around and work with Luffy, and then we're going to get another one of those panels of Luffy, Kid and Law standing there like they were in Shaba. I'm sure we're going to get that later on, but for right now he's off and he's doing his own thing. Another character that had been doing their own thing for 20 years was Ashura Doji, and we find out here as to why he was so hesitant to join Kinemon, and that was because 10 years ago a lot of these men, they decided enough is enough. We can't wait 20 years. We're going to go in. We're going to attack Kaido now. We're going to go and attack Onigashima. And they lost badly. And the thing that Ashura Doji wanted to show Kinemon was this graveyard. And that was everybody who did this attack. So his forces have been greatly depleted. He probably lost a bit of faith. And that's why he didn't want to so easily go and attack Kaido at the beginning. But now with like Tonyas's death and sacrifice, and with the realization that actually yes, this 20-year prophecy is taking place, he's now motivated and fired up. He's grabbed Inuarashi, they're dancing, and he's like, "Yeah, let's join, let's go take down Kaido." So he is now officially an ally. That was a fun little shot with him and Inuarashi just dance about. He's like, "Yeah, we may be 20 years older, but we're now stronger. Whee!" I'd love to see more of the 9 Red Scabbards together and how they all interact. Hopefully we'll probably get some flashbacks of that later on. Speaking of flashbacks, I do feel like his flashbacks, Ashura Doji's flashbacks, it went on maybe a little bit too long. It was like 5 pages. I feel like you could have got this message across in, only a couple of panels, not necessarily 5 pages. An interesting bit of dialogue with Kinemon and Ashura Doji is the fact that Ashura Doji points out, did we really have to wait 20 years? And then Kinemon and they're like, well, I'm sure there was a reason, and I think we all know what that reason is. And that reason is most definitely the fact that Luffy is here, along with the Straw Hats, along with Law, along with potentially Kid. That they are here now 20 years later, and that is probably the reason why they got sent 20 years into the future. Another interesting piece of dialogue that we get in this chapter is back in Udon prison. That's Kawamatsu. He's like, "I thank you for saving me. I'm definitely going to help you attack Kaido, but for now I've got something that I need to do." We don't find out what that thing is, but it's most definitely relating to him going to find Hiyori. And Hiyori right now is with Zoro, and they are in this nice little shrine retreat together on their own out in the middle of the countryside. Just them two and loads of dead ninja. That was a nice little scene, except for the fact that Zoro very easily apparently got out of the capital off panel. No more Zoro versus Kishiro, and all of the Oniwa Banshee that we see lying on the floor were shown again to be fodder. It was a little bit disappointing that we actually didn't get to see Zoro escape the capital, and we still don't know what's even happened to the rest of the Straw Hat. And that is the slightly divisive viewpoints I'm seeing regarding this chapter. I feel like at the moment there's two bands of One Piece manga fans. There's people who hate the fact that we are getting a lot of skipped fights, and then there are people who hate the fact that we're getting a lot of skipped fights. And I do understand both point of views. Myself, I'm more in the I hate the fact that we're getting skipped fights, but I wouldn't use the word hate. I'd say I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that we are getting a lot of skipped fights. The main one in this chapter wasn't Zoro. It was the fact that Sanji again had another fight skipped, because we see X-Drake at the end of this chapter and he looks fine, and we don't know how that fight went. I was really hyped to see that fight, and once again it happened off panel, or at least the escape, Sanji's escape happened off panel, or defeat, we don't know. And it is getting a little bit disappointing that we're getting so many of them. We've already had Sanji versus Page 1 done off panel. We had Sanji with Nami and Robin escaping the bathhouse when X-Drake and Hawkins turned up. That was skipped. Robin escaping Orochi's castle was skipped. Multiple times of Hawkins and Law have been skipped. I'm not fussed about the last one from this chapter because we kind of knew that Law was going to surrender himself. But there have been other times where, you know, they've kind of drawn their swords, they look like they're going to have a fight, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're in two completely different locations. And it's a common theme that's happening in Wano. I don't know if it's because it's trying to build up more fast pace, it's trying to cover more things, but it is starting to become a little bit noticeable. And where it's becoming noticeable, it is actually starting to remove some of the hype for some of these fights, at least for me, because now we get into a fight, like when we got into that Sanji X Drake fight, I was hyped, but at the same time I was saying, I'm hyped if it doesn't get skipped. And now always at the back of my mind I'm thinking, is this fight going to get skipped, or are we going to continue with this fight? And if we continue with this fight, what else is going to get skipped? Because there's normally always multiple things going on. We had all of that great stuff in Udon Prison, you know, we were talking gold tier, excellent chapters, but at the same time always in the back of my mind I was thinking, does this mean we're going to get the stuff in the capital skipped? And yes, we got the stuff in the capital skipped. Hopefully there are reasons for this. Maybe some of the stuff that went down between Sanji and X-Drake and Sanji and Page 1 actually have implications that are going to affect the story later on, because when we do see X-Drake in this chapter, 950, there is definitely something going on with him. Hawkins calls him out, he's like, you're acting a bit weird, and X-Drake is like, no, nothing, it's fine. So that's very interesting, because he wasn't like that before, he always seemed quite cool and calm before, and here with Hawkins calling him out, very interesting. Did something happen between him and Sanji in that fight? Did Sanji tell him something? Did X-Drake tell something to Sanji? Or could it be something relating to the fact that yes, Law has been captured, or I say captured, he's probably given himself up, but you know, he's got CISO and handcuffs on at the moment. Did something happen between them? Did X-Drake say something to Law? Did Law say something to X-Drake? Very interesting. Like I said, I'm not really too fussed about the fact that Law has been captured and that happened off screen. I kind of knew that he was going to surrender. Definitely looking at the smile on his face though, that little kind of Willardy looking into the face of death style smile. Is there more behind that smile? Is it Willardy related, or is it the fact that he has a plan? Does he know something that Hawkins doesn't? Did he say something to X-Drake? Did he manage to communicate something to Penguin and Sachi? I've even heard rumours online, people talking about the fact maybe he's done something with his powers to swap people's, you know, their minds and their bodies and stuff like he did with Chopper and Frankie. Is that going down? So definitely some good speculation happening here. Wish we could have seen it on panel though. Maybe the anime will flesh it out, but I don't want to always have to rely on the anime to flesh this out, because I love your artwork, Oda. I love your mangas. I've always preferred the manga to the anime, so I really want to see it in the manga, please. And one final thing that we saw in this panel is the fact that yes, Luffy has definitely been affected by this plague, you know, the Magellan antibodies and stuff, the poison antibodies, they aren't working because this is actually a proper virus, and people like Momo are stating the fact that it looks like Luffy's dying, but it's cool because very conveniently Chopper is here, and Chopper's going to save his captain's life once again, I'm sure, and it's great to see Chopper doing something here. And then Momo as well, he also gets revealed to everybody in the prison, so Momo is now revealed to at least the people of Udon that he is back. The Kozuki family 20-year belief is real, and he has been the final bit that's going to motivate these people and lift them up, so he's now playing a big role in the story. And you can see that he's a little bit scared, and Luffy calls him out on that, and that's a really fun little scene. Overall, how would I rate this chapter? There was some good stuff in it, like I said, some nice little intrigues, the stuff with Kawamatsu. Ashura Doji talking about did it have to be 20 years. Definitely the stuff at the end with Law and that badass panel. I said that there was one panel better than Kid's panel, and that was the panel at the end of Law when he's captured. Definitely the best panel of this entire chapter. It's my thumbnail, it's many people's thumbnails because it looked awesome, and that's definitely got a lot of speculation. But overall, a little bit let down by the fact that we got a lot of those fights skipped and Zoro's escape skipped. So for me, this chapter, 950, it's only a purple tier. Still good stuff, but it ends the awesome run of golds that Oda had been on recently. No break as well next week, so a lot of these theories, maybe hopefully some of these flashbacks we can get into straight away next week. But in the time being, I'm going to be hitting up Fire Emblem Three Houses. Woo! Hey, so thanks for watching. What did you think? Let me know about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed my video, maybe give it a like, and if you really liked it, why not subscribe? You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Twitch. Oh, and here's a related video you might enjoy, and something more fresh. I've been Hegassen, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!